Hello, today I'm going to teach you guys about data types. Okay, so what are data types? It is a very common question. Many people don't understand data types probably, and that leads to a lot of confusion when you're writing complex codes. Now, data types are types of input and output. Okay? Example, string, integers, floats, and booleans. Now we're going to learn all about them in detail properly now. Well, for more on the string, integers, and floats part, as booleans are very complex. Okay? So, we're not going to learn that much about booleans today, but we'll learn about it in time when we're learning about statements and loops. Now let's learn about strings. Strings are data types that store text only. It is necessary to surround the string with apostrophes or speech marks. As you can see in this example, we're printing hello world. So we're surrounding it by apostrophes and we're printing hello world. Okay, we did this example in the last video and I'll show you these examples later in today's video too. Now what are integers? Well, integers are whole numbers, only whole numbers, no decimal numbers. And you do not need to surround them by apostrophes or speech marks. Like over here, we're not surrounding this 4 by apostrophes or speech marks, but it's still going to print 4 in the console. Okay? Now let's learn about floats. These are decimal numbers, as in the last example, these were whole numbers. These are decimal numbers only, but these two don't need to be surrounded by apostrophes or speech marks. We put the decimal point in between of the whole number and the decimal number. Let's not go too much in the math over here, but let's just say this is how we need to do it. So we printed this in the last lecture too. And booleans. I'm not going to talk that much about it as they come most handy in if loops and also in statements. We will learn them later on in this course, but not now as they're very complex. Now, booleans are the yes and no's of Python. They have only two types though. Like the yes is true, so the yes is true, and the no is false, as you can see here. So in this we're storing a variable, which is this is a variable, and we're assigning it to false. Okay, so this probably says that if a user of this website or this app or this game is an adult, and in this case it's false, but it could also be true over here. No difference. True means yes, the player or user is an adult, but false means no, it is not. Okay, so let's now get into the examples over here. Okay, so the first example we used was about the strings. So the string we can see is print. Oops. Hello world. As you can see, we're surrounded by apostrophes, and it's really necessary. Okay, so if we don't, let's try to see what happens. Let's see. Oops. Look. Well, let's say this. As you can see, Python has gone crazy. Okay, it's showing our file as red. It's showing our name over here as red. It's given us the big curly mark, and now if you run this, invalid syntax. Okay, so you won't be able to run your code. So we need to surround your text when we're printing or storing text in a variable. Okay, so let's try what happens when you do this. You store hello world. I'm not going to care about the spelling over here right now. Again, Python has gone crazy. Red curly marks, name gone red, everything gone red. Again, invalid syntax. Even though we didn't print it, still it's an invalid syntax. And now let's see what happens when you just basically print with the apostrophes. So basics, save. It's nothing's red right now, that means it's okay, and we run this. Hello world, no problem. spelling's wrong, but let's leave that aside. Okay, so now what about integers? Well, integers are basically number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? These cannot be 1, 2, 3.4. Integers are just whole numbers. Very important. Note it down. Remember it. Whatever, just integers are not whole numbers. Okay? Like this. Base 6 equals to 4. I can do 4.5. There's not going to be any error. But this is a float. It's not an integer anymore. This is an integer. So if you print this, okay, save this, and when you run this, we've got 4. Nice. So now what about floats? As I told you, floats are decimal numbers only. Again, note it down, memorize it, whatever. Just remember, floats are not whole numbers. They're only decimal numbers. Okay? So, this can be 4.5. So we're not specifying anywhere that this thing is an integer. Okay? So now if you run this, wait. Okay, so now if we run this, we get 4.5. Okay, so now what about booleans? As I told you, I made a variable over here. I made a variable over here that if the user is an adult, well, false. Well, this is telling us that, or this is telling Python that no, the person using is not an adult. This is an 18 plus site. Kick him out of here, okay? Okay, maybe not kick him out of here. Maybe it's just for some security reasons, but still. So now if it's true, you can also say, wait, this is YouTube Kids, get him out of here or something. If this is a adult website, then good, let him enjoy. So let's try print. Yes, you can also print them. So if adult. So yes, it's showing us true. Yes, the user is an adult. Okay, so now I want to introduce you to a new built-in function in Python. That is type. It will tell you any type of the object stored in a variable or what you're printing. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's print. Now you can use type inside of the brackets like this, but it uses brackets too. So it kind of will look like this. Now enter the text or number, whatever. I'm just gonna enter text to see if it works. Hello world 1, and yes, it's telling us that the class, you can just call this as the type, is str, which is string, which is the short form for string. Okay, now we can use 4, save it and run it again. Class int. Int is another short form for integer. Now what about 5? Save, run. It is a float. It's just a whole form. And now what about true? Another important thing, you don't need apostrophes for true or false. Class bool. Bool is the short form for boolean. Okay, so now you can also store type in a variable, like, well, let's say data type, and then type brackets, and let's try the string. Okay, and then print data type 1, and it works. So let's just try all the data types over here. like 4, save 1, 8, 4.5, save 1, float 2, save 1, boom. So you can work in variables too. So that's it for today, guys, and I'll see you next time.